Hi, let us talk about delegates. Delegate is one of the most important and most useful features of C# programming language. This is Microsoft's definition of delegate. Let us try to understand this definition by breaking it into small parts. Delegate, just like an integer or a string, is a C# type. But what makes delegate so special is that it can hold reference to a method. To demonstrate this, I have created a simple console app. Let me go ahead and declare a delegate. Now, as we know that delegate is a type, I can go ahead and create an object of this delegate type. Now I will go ahead and create two methods called sum and product. Notice that these two methods have same signature as our perform calculation delegate. That is, these two methods take two integers as input and they return an integer as output. Let me use this sum method and calculate sum of two numbers. Let us calculate sum of 4 and 5. Four plus 5 is 9. By definition, perform calculation method can hold a reference to our sum method. Now instead of using this sum method directly, I will go ahead and use this perform calculation delegate to invoke sum method. Notice that the output is still same. I can invoke any method using this perform calculation delegate as long as that method has same signature as our perform calculation delegate. Let me prove this. Instead of sum, let me pass product here. Control F5 and you can see 4 times 5 is 20. What happens if I try to assign a method with different signature to this perform calculation delegate? I will create a method called square and I'll try to assign this method to a perform calculation delegate. We have an error here. This is what the final part of the delegate definition says. A delegate can hold reference to methods with a particular parameter list and a return type. But nobody uses delegates like what we saw in our example. Delegates are used to pass methods as argument to other methods. By passing methods as argument to other methods, we will reduce code rewrite and number of lines of code. Let me show you this with a simple example. Let us go back to Visual Studio. Let me clear all this. And let us create two more classes called employee and employee service. Our employee class has simple properties called ID, name, experience and salary, and I'm overriding the toString method to always return the name of the employee. Our employee service class has a list of employees. Our console application will consume this employee service to display a list of employees. Let me correct this error by adding the required using directive and let me create a method to return list of all employees. Let me go ahead and consume this employee service and display a list of employees. Employee service is equal to new employee service, and I will use a for each loop for each employee in service.getAll console write line employee. Control F5 and now we can see list of all our employees. Now what if I want to see a list of employee with experience greater than 3 years? I can go ahead and add a new method here in our employee service and call it get all employee with experience greater than 3 years. And I can loop through all the employees, check if employee has experience greater than 3 years, and then add that employee to this list, and finally return this list. Let us use this method in our console app. Control F5, and I have a list of employees with experience greater than 3 years. Now what if I want to see a list of employees with salary less than 200? I can go ahead and add a new method to our employee service and call it get all employees with salary less than 200. The only difference between our get all employee with experience greater than 3 years and get all employee with salary less than 200 method is this if statement. Let us go ahead and consume this in our console app. Control F5, and I have a list of employees with salary less than 200. Now what if I want to filter employees with a different criteria now? I can go ahead and add a new method to this employee service class, and the real difference between these methods will be this if statement. We're writing a lot of duplicate code for a simple job. We can reduce all this duplicate code by using a delegate. This condition is returning true or false based on the properties of the employee. So we can go ahead and replace this condition with a delegate. Let me delete these two methods and declare a delegate. I have declared a new delegate called employee delegate, which takes employee as an input parameter and returns a bool. Now I will go ahead and declare a method in our employee service which uses this delegate. This method is similar to our previous methods. The only difference here is this if statement. Now let me go ahead and use this method in our console app. Get employees. It is expecting an input of type employee delegate. So let me create a method which matches our employee delegate signature and pass this method as an input parameter to our get employee method. This filter method will return true only if employee's salary is less than 500. Control F5, and you can see that here is the list of employees with salary less than 500. Now if I want to change the search criteria, I can go ahead and declare a new filter. Let us call it filter 1 and pass this to our get employees method. Control F5, and you can see there's only one employee with salary less than 200. Now there's no need for employee service class to change. The console application which is consuming this service can set its own search criteria. We can have complex search criteria like this one. Let us press Ctrl F5, and you can see that the employees are filtered by the complex search criteria. This can be further simplified by using anonymous methods. Anonymous methods are nothing but methods without name. I can copy this method, add delegate keyword here and paste this method. Let us press Ctrl F5, and you can see that we still have the same output. We can further simplify this by using built-in delegates. C# has two built-in delegates, func and action. Let us go to employee service class. Let us replace this employee delegate with a func of employee, comma bool. Let us go to definition of this func. You can see that func is a delegate, and the first parameter is input parameter and the second parameter T result is the output parameter. In our case, T is employee and T result is bool. Now I can go ahead and delete our custom delegate. Press Ctrl F5 and you can see that it is still working. Our anonymous function can be further simplified by using conditional operator. I've introduced a conditional operator here. This part is the condition. In conditional operator, the condition must evaluate to true or false. If condition is true, then the first expression is evaluated. If condition is false, then the second expression is evaluated. I can go ahead and safely delete this if statement now. Ctrl F5. You can see that we still get the same output. I can further simplify this by changing this anonymous method into a lambda expression. Let me get rid of this delegate keyword here and let me add the lambda symbol between the parameters and the body of the method. Lambda expressions can infer the input parameter type. So I can go ahead and delete this employee from here. You can see that this employee object is still of type employee. If there is only one input parameter in the lambda expression, then the brackets around this input parameter are optional. I can go ahead and delete these brackets. Because the body is only one line, these brackets and the return keyword is optional. Ctrl F5 and you can see that we still have the same output. Generally, we use alphabets to represent parameters in a lambda expression. So let me get rid of this employee. I will replace this with the alphabet E. Now let me inline the whole expression. Now, because this condition evaluates to true or false, I can get rid of the whole conditional operator. And let me press Ctrl F5 now. You can see that it still works. Now, let me get rid of the filter functions and let me try a few more conditions to see if our code is still working. I will replace this condition. Let me press Ctrl F5 now. You can see that it is still working. In future videos, I will talk more about delegates and lambda expression. Thank you for watching.